Welcome to Pirates Parley, episode 4. A little CZ action going on. Today, I'm joined by one of the OGest of OGs when it comes to Solana, but maybe also other tokens, other networks, other decentralized encrypted coins. Please give it up for George Harrop.
GM.
Hello.
How's it going, Steve?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm chilling here. I got a little squeegee ball. I like to throw this around sometimes. Like I'll be on a meeting sometimes and I'll just be like, there was a new guy I'd never met before yesterday and I was just like tossing the ball. Hope he didn't think it was bad or something, but that's all good.
All right. Nice to have you on. Yeah, we've known each other for 2.5 years. I think we met for the first time in person in Turkey during one of the events that you guys host or used to host. I'm not sure. Crossroads.
It'll
Do
come
you
back
want?
in form.
All right, that sounds good. I hope I learn a little bit more about that in a bit. But do you want me to do the introduction, or do you want to do the introduction yourself?
I mean, you probably have some things written down.
Nothing
I'll either
written down.
confirm or deny it.
All right. So George, you're the stepfather of Step Finance. You were early Bitcoin. You're a traveler. You did some amazing videos on where crypto people should or should not be. You did some videos on how crypto enables people from areas with difficult economics, how crypto can help bring that back to life. And I don't know what else you do all day.
I don't know. I've done a bunch of stuff, but yeah, basically crypto's been part of my life for like 15 years now, like every day. So yeah, that's been a crazy wild ride. There's been lots of characters along the way, done a bunch of stuff. My first startup was we invented crypto remittances. So we were the first to do money transfers. Did that for 6 years out of Hong Kong and all around Southeast Asia and stuff. And yeah, for the last 4 and a bit years, I guess. Yeah, it's about 4. We're in 20. Are we in 20? We're in 2026 now. Okay, so it's 5 years now. Doing Step Finance, and Step Finance is a number of different organizations, but yeah, we can get into that and what that does. But yeah, basically that's sort of what I've been doing, and yeah, many stories along the way.
Tell me about the crypto remittances that you guys built.
Yeah, so I mean, we gotta go way back, because one of the initial use cases, and it seems kind of a little bit uninteresting compared with what we have today, but back when, let's say 15 years ago or something, that was the use case of Bitcoin. Bitcoin was 100 nerds on the internet on a website. So I was back on Bitcoin Talk when Satoshi was around, and it was just, nobody knew about this whole crypto thing, but there was basically a lot of people that were fans of libertarian economics and sound money and all that sort of stuff, gold and silver, and they got involved in Bitcoin and crypto. But really, one of the main sort of uses was, hey, this is a money thing, and you can move this money thing around the world, and then people can, transact with this money thing and do stuff. And that was like a novel thing. So yeah, we basically, I quit my job on Prison Island and left the Prison Island and went to start a new company in Hong Kong. And that was with my co-founder. And yeah, that was all about basically using Bitcoin to transact all around the world in and out of local fiats. And basically what we would be doing is we'd be buying Bitcoin in one locale and selling it in another. And often there's like a 1 to 1.5% spread, because if you and there's always a premium in the recipient destination, because let's say you're like Philippines or Indonesia or something like that. The Philippine peso, the Indonesian rupiah, they're going to zero forever. Like, horrible currency, nobody likes it. Everyone wants to get rid of it. So everyone is buying this crypto coin. So that meant that the price relatively was higher in those markets. So anyway, it means that you could make money on the transaction leg and you didn't have to charge like a $20 fee that someone like a Western Union or something would charge.
That's crazy. So you started with Bitcoin, but most people who start with Bitcoin end up being Bitcoin maximalists. But for you, it's not the case. So what brought you to Solana, basically? And did you go into Ethereum before that?
Yeah. So I've been there for all of the different phases of crypto. And I guess one of the important things in Bitcoin land was the block size wars. And that was probably about 10 years ago or something. And that was where they were debating on whether to make the block size of Bitcoin bigger or not. And if it was bigger, you could do more stuff. A whole bunch of people agreed, a whole bunch of people disagreed. And then eventually they forked it. And that's how you got Bitcoin Cash. And then all of these other iterations of it. But pretty much the people that wanted a bigger block size for Bitcoin itself were sort of disillusioned, like myself, because it was like, bro, what are you going to do? You're going to use this like piece of shit thing with zero active development for like the next 50 years? Probably not. And so everyone went and built other stuff. And then you had a proliferation of people exiting the Bitcoin ecosystem to go and build, other things. And obviously Ethereum won. A lot of builders went there. And yeah, you had DeFi Summer there, and eventually, I wrapped up my previous business during COVID and stuff, and was looking for sort of what the next thing might be. And essentially, the only place where you could trade wrapped versions of coins was Solana and was a Serum, and a lot of these L2s, they didn't exist. Like there was a couple, but they didn't really do that much. Alameda was wrapping coins on this chain called Solana. So you could actually, what we wanted to do initially with Step was just a DCA contract on chain. That was it. And it was the second hackathon of Solana.
So that's where the name Step comes from. So you increase your position in steps.
I mean, that's a great idea. I don't think we thought of it that way. we were just like, that's a cool name. But
right.
yeah, like it was literally just a DCA contract. And the only way to like actually buy a coin effectively, for hardly any fees, without, going to the Ethereum main chain and blah, 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 costing $1 billion, was this thing called Solana. So yeah, that's how we got into Solana. And that's how Step started. We didn't win anything in that hackathon. I don't know if people even looked at our submission, but through that, we decided, okay, this Solana thing is something that has a lot of legs, and we should go and build more on it. And yeah, started building out the Step dashboard product and DeFi integrations and all these things. We're going to talk about that later. But yeah, that was how the Solana for us got started, was that it was just a place that you could trade a lot of these representations of other coins.
That's crazy. And it's also true that you guys were one of the first real customers of Trident One.
Yeah, weren't we the first customer?
I think you guys were, but yeah, at least.
I think it was, yeah, it was, I think one of the big tests for you guys was when we initially did the ICO. And that was like, mega sort of interest at the time. And, these things come and go in phases. You get projects. So we were obviously one of the early projects. But yeah, that was, I think, a big test for RPCs and all that sort of stuff, was because we did it all on chain. That was how we did it. And I still believe to this day, the best way to launch a token is you just put it on the order books and then people can buy it. Everyone tries and cooks up all of these nonsense mechanics of this and that, and they never work, and they're always somehow, psyoped or whatever. So it's like, just put the coins on the books and people can buy it. But obviously, big RPC load back then, and Serum was the launch platform. And yeah, Serum's, well, the programs still exist, but yeah, that was a core component, I think, of Solana's success, was a limit order permissionless DEX on a chain that made everything quick and cheap. Just that is killer project.
I agree that not enough happens really on chain. It's starting to come along right now, like real on-chain orders and order books, but yeah, maybe not enough yet. Maybe we need a few more whoopsies.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Yeah, we had Open Book after Serum. Now we've got Manifest. I'm a big fan of Manifest. I think I like what they're doing. Basically, crypto should be permissionless. That was the whole initiative of everything since ever. That was the whole concept. And yes, you've got all of these other dexes that have order books, but they're all permissioned. So if you're some token out there, you go, oh, hey, bro, can you list my token? Oh, trust me, bro, it's great. Like, oh, and they don't want to. Like that, nobody wants to. So, or they have some criteria, and then that's a limitation for teams, raising funding or getting started. So that's why I think everything should be permissionless. If you're going to be doing DeFi on chain and calling yourself a DeFi project. So, yeah. So the more permissionless order books that there can be, the better. And I think what you are seeing now is you're seeing more people build order books. That's for sure. People love perps these days. I remember back in the day. So, do you know who invented perps?
I think it was the Dutch, probably.
Probably. Before, well, after that, significantly after that. But BitMEX were the first to sort of do perps back in the day for Bitcoin. And that was Arthur Hayes and his crew. I remember going to Starbucks in Hong Kong, and this was back in the remittance days, and Arthur was telling me how a perp works and how we should use it for hedging our risk for transferring money. And we were just, he was telling me about all this stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what this is. It kind of probably won't quite work for our thing, but yeah. Anyway, like everyone's talking about perps these days, but they've actually been around for quite a while. But I think they're being used for more things these days and more different kinds. You've got these delta neutral stable coins. You've got perps for all sorts of different coins. People trying to make them quicker, having them on a roll up or whatever. But yeah, perps have been, I think, a big sort of development in the order book space.
Nice. So you went for a coffee with Arthur Hayes?
Oh yeah, like Arthur was back in Hong Kong in the days. CZ used to go to the Bitcoin meetups a couple times. Yeah, just like all of the OGs. A lot of them all billionaires now, so good on them. But yeah, like that was the crew, because Hong Kong was the best place to build a crypto company. It was #1 for economic freedom for like 26 years or something, and there was no rules on anything. So Arthur will tell you, and he's told the story publicly as well. He used to arbitrage from Shenzhen Bitcoin to Hong Kong by literally walking across the border with like a duffel bag full of cash, because the price in China was often 1% higher. So you could make the arb, you could buy in Hong Kong, sell in China, bring the RMB back, and then at the RMB HKD exchange offices, usually you could get it for, it was basically at spot. It was a very good price. So you could make 1% a trip. I actually did a similar thing back in the day. This was in my previous company before I'd started. This is like 2012 or something. So China had like one exchange, and I got sent to Taiwan in my previous job to like do factory stuff. Like we got stuff built in the factories. Anyway, on a Friday, I was like, there's nothing to do at the factory today. So I got on a plane. I went to Shanghai. I was there for 5 hours, and this was back when you could still make a bank account. I got a bank account, just used a SIM card that I got at the airport, got a Chinese bank account. Then I could use the Chinese exchanges and I could do the ARB. So, and then after 5 hours, got back on the plane, went back to Taiwan, and I'm like, yep, cool, that's sick. So that was fun times, man. There was a lot of stuff like that.
How many Bitcoin would you buy at once?
Oh, like hundreds, thousands, I don't know, whatever the price was.
People listening in right now, the chat is not working because I had to restart the stream, but people right now, and me too, are like, fuck.
Yeah, it was $1.70 back in the day. That's when I think I mined my first Bitcoin. Yeah, that was good old days.
Jesus. All right, let's circle back to tell Arthur Hayes to come on Pirates Parley.
Yeah,
I want to ask him about,
I mean, bro, I don't know if bro gets Solana yet. Yeah, so I think he does some stuff with some Solana projects, but he's still in Ethereum land. It's like, bro, that's not going to work. It's not.
It would be good if we can have a conversation with us three, maybe have CZ on as well, so you can shield the Binance Smart Chain.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Clash of the Titans. All right, yeah, I gotta do it. I'll let purple.
Yeah.
All right, but this is crazy. All right, so let's circle back to Step, because Step does a lot. So you guys started out as a DCA protocol, but eventually, how I know you guys is you used to have like the one-stop shop for everything Solana DeFi. So you could check all your positions. You could close positions through your dashboard. You could buy tokens. You could sell tokens. It would list your NFTs. The whole shebang, like one-stop shop, everything Solana. So how did it came to be? It was not the original product idea, but how did it happen? Take me through the timeline.
Yeah, so after that hackathon where we didn't really get anywhere, we noticed that people were building all these different things, but there was no unified dashboard to really see all of these different things in one place. You had to have 20 tabs up, and you had to hope that you don't forget them, and then your money's lost. The concept had just emerged on Ethereum as well at the time. You had people like Zapper and Zerion as well. That's how they first evolved with that sort of thing. So the concept of a dashboard was something that was needed. And it was also something that would have significant daily active users. Everyone would use it, of course you would. So yeah, that we essentially pivoted to build that, and we built that out. And at the time, there was literally Serum, Radium, and us. Like when we first started, there was like 2 other protocols. So, but Radium had a bunch of pools, so definitely keeping track of that. And then, of course, over that, so this is 2021, you had a whole bunch of new Solana projects launching and doing different crazy things. So yeah, we built out that as an MVP, started building on it, and then basically for the next 4 years, we were on a treadmill of adding more things to the dashboard, and essentially, like a dashboard, it's a very necessary thing for people that do stuff on chain. But what we noticed, up until recently, was that less people, or people are more siloed in the particular thing that they're doing on chain. For years prior to that, people would be doing things all over the place in various, bull and bear cycles. But then things kind of compressed after, FTX blew up and Solana got wrecked and all that sort of stuff. People became scared, and they didn't really do that many things. They'd maybe stick to one protocol. So they would often just go to the one protocol to see the information relative to them. So essentially the Step dashboard we saw was getting less and less usage over time. So we had to add sort of more things to it, and more, essentially more developments and innovation. And what we came up with was a lot of indexing on-chain data. So whether that's getting a portfolio history, or getting, we had a Step analytics at one stage where we had all different analytics pools for, because another thing is that when you look at a token, like on a CoinGecko or a CoinMarketCap, or even things like, Bird Eye or whatever, Dex Screener, the liquidity number they show is wrong. It's like always wrong.
Really?
And it's because that they're not actually looking at all of the pools, because looking at all of the pools is really hard. And it's a really hard technological problem to solve. You need to index everything. You need to price everything. There's all sorts of weird ass pools all over the place. George Coin and Steve Coin in a pool, they have $1 billion notional liquidity, but that's because it's using a price of another pool against USDC that has like $20 liquidity in it. So it's not really $1 billion pool. So anyway, you need to put all of these different sort of things together. But it's people won't pay for that. No one will buy that or give you money. So so we scrapped that. And we built out an API for people to check positions and that sort of thing. But November last year, we discontinued the Step dashboard. And that was a big decision, a big call. And that was because a couple of things. Number one, the effort required to run all of that super complex, and as you know, because we've been using Triton for all of this like since ever.
It took some coordinating between the teams to keep everything running.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's it was a massive effort to keep this going, and we wanted to innovate, and do new things. And we have we have a team, and we basically felt like we were spinning our wheels a lot. We weren't able to innovate, and we had other products launching, Remora, Solana Floor, these other things which we can talk about. But anyway, we decided to discontinue the dashboard. That's just wrapped up last month. Yeah, sort of focusing. All of the teams now moved over to Remora and building things out for Solana Floor. We have like 3 new products in the works there. So it's allowed us to innovate a lot more, which we've been wanting to do. Because another thing of running a dashboard is, okay, some protocol launches tomorrow, right? Everyone's like, oh, where's my shitcoin position of this random ass protocol? Number one, that random ass protocol is not documented anywhere. Number two, okay, you set up a TG with the team. They share some docs. They're probably pretty shitty. There's no common way to access data from their program. So you have to have a custom integration. It takes weeks. Let's say it takes tens of thousands of dollars of dev time to build an integration. And then the protocol blows up in 4 months and disappears, and no one does anything. So we've just gone and spent tens of thousands of dollars. No one's paid us money for that because everyone's expecting it for free. And and now it's blown up again. Many such cases of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just in terms of efficiency.
So you mentioned Remora and Solana Floor. For those that are watching that do not know Remora or Solana Floor, what other stuff Step still exists, right? Just in another form without the dashboard. So what is Remora?
Yeah, so Step is a group of companies, right?
Yeah.
And I was just talking about the Step Finance dashboard, but we're actually a group of companies. We've done a lot of things, and we've essentially doubled down on the things that are doing really, really well. One of those things we'll talk about is Remora. Remora, we acquired a company last year that essentially tokenizes stocks, so one of the few RWA issuers on Solana. And essentially we're growing that out. We're tokenizing things. We're at all-time high metrics on literally everything right now: TBL, volume, usage, number of holders, all this kind of stuff. We launched tokenizing metals. We were the first to tokenize all of these metals on chain, so copper and silver and gold and everything via the respective ETFs. So Remora is all about just being, the business models to be super simple. I really like Tether's business model. In fact, that's another story. Back in the day, I went to, when Tether was just getting started, I went on a journey to go and find their core office. And their office back in the day, it's Bitfinex and Tether's the same thing. It was a dodgy ass, front office in Hong Kong in some building. And you go up to the front desk and you're like, oh, I'm looking for Ifinex Inc. And they're like, I don't know what that is. There's like 500 companies that are registered here. So like it was just a false thing. Because back in the day, I was like, I want to trade in this thing called Bitfinex. I want to see if they're legit or not. And they, again, started in Hong Kong. Anyway, so yeah, there's humble beginnings. But I really like their business model of being super simple. It's like, look, we have a USDT and there's a US dollar in a bank account. That's it. They don't build anything else. Or at least I know today they do, but they haven't for like the history of since ever. So we want to do the same thing, but for stocks, for other, listed things on different exchanges all over the place. And that's really the focus of Remora. And right now, we've got some really cool products in the works. We got, more launches of different things. And
got some alpha
on chain as well, So our thing is like, put the liquidity on chain, do cool things with it. That's the whole thing about that.
So you got some alpha on what is coming, or?
Yeah. So we're a bunch of degenerate scumbags who grew up in the crypto trenches. So we're really good at that. In terms of button-up suit and TardFi and whatever else, that's not me. We got a guy to do that. So that's all good, but it's not me. So what we want to focus on is utility on chain for these sorts of things. So the technical team is building out more of that. Now, one of these things, we're calling it Nemo. You'll be able to trade in and out of basically any token for any size of volume. Like it'll minting and burning coins, very simple. So that in and of itself will be very, very cool. We've been working on it for a while. So yeah, that will enable us to launch basically any ticker. So we want to have the end goal is you go to Remora, you see like 500 tickers, and you're like, yo, I want this one. And you press it, you mint the coins to your wallet, you have it, and job done. So yeah, being able to do that ideally 24/7. That's one of the other things. Competitors often not 24/7. And having actually have to have liquidity on chain to do that. So we have liquidity on chain. People are arbitraging with it all day. So yeah, that is the goal of to have that as a thing. And yeah, one of the other things is we're going to have more trading features as well. So whether that's a manifest UI type thing, places to put your liquidity, but also portfolio construction, being able to construct a portfolio using Remora tokens for whatever perspective you might have on the markets, whether it's, hey, I'm bullish on America going to war, or hey, China EVs are going to destroy everyone, or whatever. Just have like sectors which you can construct a portfolio around. Because what we learned was that people don't really care about tickers. As much as they're like, hey, what's the ticker, bro? It's actually not. It's about, I'm bullish on, I don't know, like I say, China or something, or the next Boeing. Like, that is the interesting thing. Like when we launched metals, people were bullish on the concept of metals rather than the individual tickers. So anyway, we're going to be launching more portfolio construction type stuff.
Will there be a reverse Kramer and a Nancy Pelosi copy trading?
We should do. In fact, I think that is a listed thing. Like there's some exchange somewhere where some fund tokenized a Pelosi tracker. So yeah,
I think what I hear is it's doing pretty well. Yeah. I'm not going to say she's the best trader of all time, but she does do a lot of. I don't know how it works, but yeah, pretty cool. Yep. Wow. So basically, the whole internet capital markets, NASDAQ on chain, went from the silly dragon to one of the other two dragons. Like it's actually happening, right?
Yeah. And I think that it also gives more resilience than we've had in the past, because in the past there has been portfolio construction things, there's been AMM pools, there's been protocols doing stuff, but it's all with like shitcoin tickers, and it's like, Bing Bong Inu is not going to be around for longer than 3 months, right? So, but if you can construct a portfolio with like legit real things, it's not going to minus 95% overnight. So I think now with this, as you say, internet capital market stuff, is being able to keep people within the ecosystem beyond just these boom and bust cycles, because if the tools are there and they're fundamentally easier to use to construct any type of position or what you might think upon the markets, that's really where it's at. So yeah, real things, real coins, using all the crypto tools, that's way better than anything else.
It's crazy. I sometimes think like we must live in a simulation because everything is coming together so nicely. I started on Solana in 2021, went to my first breakpoint in 2022, and then FTX collapsed. We were bullied by the EVM bros.
Yeah.
And now we've come back with such vengeance. It's crazy. It's like Alpenglow's coming.
Basically, like it's all of the trading's on, all of the activities on Solana, right?
Yeah, by all metrics. And then there's going to be even more because now we've got all this institutional interest. I went to institutional event last week. I got invited by a pretty big consulting company to do
the institutional thing.
No, I didn't get it. No. I wore I was the only guy with collar on him. Everyone else was in a suit. But yeah, I probably need to get a colorful suit or something.
Hand out the Triton merch or something to all these boomers in suits. Like they'd love it.
Just one. But yeah, it's crazy that they don't know even a percent of what's happening on Solana. And once you start telling them about what IBRL means, how 00 is creating a private network, well, semi-private network, that block size is increasing, that we're going to have transaction finality of 150 milliseconds ish. Their eyes just light up and they're like, how? And they're like, yeah, we got bullied into it. Like,
Pretty much. Yeah.
pretty much. But the fact that you can now, now that we have the infrastructure, I think Remora is pretty important, because if we're going to have NASDAQ on chain, or, New York Stock Exchange on chain, then you need a company like Remora. Do you see it in the same way? Do you see that, people are actually more interested in trading these tokens on chain instead of at a stock exchange?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's fundamentally easier way to do it. Like, if I just open a wallet and I click a button to swipe, that's way better than, oh, I got to connect my bank. Oh, it doesn't work. I had a broker once in New Zealand. By the way, like, I had to do all of this shenanigans to try and get them to give me an account, because I didn't have a job, because I just like quit my previous company. Told them I was retired. They didn't believe me. I was literally just a degen in a one-room apartment, like just on the Ethereum DeFi summer. Anyway, I tried to transfer money there, literally couldn't, because the number of digits on their website or on my bank's website like didn't correspond to their website. So it's just like dumb things like this. It's like, so people are like, oh, but I can do that in my stock trading account, bro. I can buy this thing. It's like, that takes like 500 additional steps and weeks of prep to do that. Whereas you can download like a Solflare wallet or something like that, and you can get set up right now, like within a minute, and buy it with some coins with your credit card and then swipe, and boom, now you have a position of something. And then you can go and do a perp 100x of that thing, or leverage or borrow against it. Like, whatever you want to do, it's just so much easier. So that's one side, is that we need to cover the fundamental building blocks of finance on chain. And that's what Solana is trying to create. Is Bitcoin is trying to do the store of value. Okay, cool, store of value. Yeah, pet rock. But what's actually better than a store of value is a financial ecosystem, like a financial system. So a financial system also has a bigger market cap. So people should also keep that in mind. But okay, you can do all of that, but if nobody knows about it or nobody cares, that's the problem. So that was the thing of our second major sort of acquisition that we did, was Solana Floor. Solana Floor is Solana's biggest media company. So, and you can see that objectively if you look at the metrics. In fact, there's been, I don't know what it is like right now today, but there's been plenty of times in history where we do much better than any other crypto media company, CoinDesk, all these other guys that have been around for years included, in terms of views and hits and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, the thesis was, and this Solana Floor came out of after FTX, where everyone was shitting on Solana, saying it sucks, saying everyone's SBF, and SBF is like 90% of every coin supply. Obviously, that was all just clowning. But so we were pissed off about that. And we're like, everyone's reporting on this wrong. So like, we're going to just make our own company to do the news. And we did. So that's how Solana Floor started. And well, also Solana Floor prior to that was an NFT platform, but we repurposed the name into a media sort of company. But now we have several journalists on staff. We have we were doing the live stream at Breakpoint recently. That was really good. We do every week. We do streams with the news. We do written, obviously, content. And we're growing all of that. All of those metrics are growing. We're hiring new people. We're going to be doing more documentaries. I think in the intro you mentioned, I did a few sort of videos, documentaries, that sort of thing. We're going to do more of that.
Wow.
So there is a documentary of me interviewing the president of Palau, because Palau had this KYC ID thing. So we went there to go and see it, and that was just like, yo, that's sick. And you could mint it for Ethereum. So anyway, we're going to do more of those sorts of just interesting crypto-related adjacent documentaries. But yeah, so Solana Floor is all about telling the news, and that's how we're also getting the word out about, obviously not just what we do, but what everyone does, and take a neutral perspective to that. And I think it's really helped grow the Solana ecosystem, has been having an objective, data-backed look at what's going on. We literally have a guy on staff whose job is just data and getting, data metrics and incorporating that into our news stories. So that's one of the other elements of the STEP group of companies.
Man, and then you guys hosted your own conference 2 or 3 times as well?
Yeah. Yep. So Crossroads, we've done 3 times. And yeah, you were joining us for, I don't know, how many? 2?
Yeah, I think 2 of those. Yeah.
2 of those. So really good. We had 2,500 people at the last one last year. We won't be having one perhaps in the same form this year, but we're thinking a different format. Putting on a conference is a lot of work.
Shout out Ellie. Shout out Ellie.
Shout out Ellie and the crew.
Yeah.
It is massively time intensive and takes a lot of people. Now, we have a lot of stuff to do. So it was literally our growth team that was just like 90% conference focus for like 6 months prior. So they couldn't do any growth stuff for anything else. And we, as you know, we had STEP, we had, all of these other things going on. Remora, Solana Floor. So what we're thinking of doing is there might be we don't want to drop the alpha yet, but a version tailored towards video content, towards founders, towards putting all of that together and making that a thing. But also we're thinking of maybe more frequent events throughout the year as well. So we'll also have sort of roving video crews at different places. The Solana Floor team is going to Mountain Dow soon, so if you're going there, heads up, go and say hello. So Crossroads will be taking on different forms, and I dare say we will do a big conference, maybe, I don't know, sometime, maybe next year again, we'll see. But different forms, I think, but really enjoyed it. It's just, it takes a lot of effort. I think everyone else really enjoyed it as well. But that was another thing, is building conferences, another element. So another sort of element to what we've been working on.
I feel like we could probably spend 2 more hours on stream and would still not cover everything that STEP does or has done, because there's also, you guys had an initiative called Solana All-Stars, which was basically weekly meetups, bi-weekly meetups, monthly meetups in Solana hotspots like Nigeria, Latin America as well, I think.
Yeah, we're the largest in-person crypto meetups in the world of any organization. So, you
say it with such ease, like, oh yeah, we did that.
Wait, what? Like 10,000 people a month.
That's crazy.
Again, and we've been doing that for 3 years, and with the recent reorganization, we've shut down All-Stars. It costs a lot of money, a lot of time again, but hugely just respectful for the team of what they were able to pull off, during that time, is to go from nothing to something really huge like that. But yeah, that was all about educational content and that sort of thing.
And those people are going to stick around regardless, whether it's in the All-Stars forum or another.
A lot of those people, they're still in our Discord. They're still talking about Solana every day. They're still doing stuff. They've still got the PFPs and everything. Like everyone that we've onboarded is staying around in the Solana ecosystem, because why wouldn't you? Like, there's so many opportunities to do stuff. Many of them have jobs in the Solana ecosystem. And that's another cool thing that we've been able to do, is to get people hired and get them earning income wherever you are in the world.
It's crazy. How, like, do you ever stop and realize, like, how much of where Solana is today is also thanks to, those initial 3 teams that were building on Solana?
Look, I think it's everyone had a part to play. We had a very small part to play in what we've done, but look, I think, and it also takes on different forms as different years tick by, different cycles, different narratives. We had first it was DeFi stuff, and everyone was doing DeFi things, and you had NFTs came along, and you had a bunch of projects, became really big companies there, and now you've got lots of perp dexes and things doing stuff there, and more sort of trading focused. Now you've got RWAs as a new narrative that everyone's trying to, get on board. So yeah, I think all of these things need players that are that know what they're doing, that are there for the long haul and get it. I don't know if everyone is in that basket, but certainly I think Solana has a unique amount of really cool builders that are making things happen. And as we've seen after getting punched in the face from FTX and all of that nonsense, like people that are willing to stick around because they know it's literally the best thing to be working on. Yeah, because growing an L1 from scratch these days is really hard. In fact, I don't know if you're going to see more emerge. Like the sort of the age of the L1 emerging is over. The time of the existing L1s is now, something like that. Quoting the meme from Helm's Deep, by the way, the org. So it's really hard to do it because it's kind of like growing a new Facebook or a new X or a new something like that.
I think the new layer one is always going to be Solana because we're reinventing ourselves like every cycle, basically.
Yeah, what are you gonna? Because the quantum difference is quite a lot, right? Before it was like Ethereum does, one block every 13 seconds or whatever. And now Solana's talking about, what was it, 150 milliseconds or something?
Yeah.
And however many transactions per second. And so it's like you can go from, say, Ethereum to Solana, and there is a very considerable difference. Now, if somebody comes along and goes, hey, I'm 1,000 times cheaper than Solana, it's like, bro, Solana's already like 0.001 of a cent in terms of like a average transaction fee or something. Like, does anyone really care? So like getting people to care is a big problem. And so that's the problem that a lot of these new things have is it doesn't matter what you are or who you are, like it's really hard to grow an L1. So what does that mean? That means that we have a bunch of L1s which are getting entrenched in their different areas that they do. And it seems that Solana is going for the high throughput kind of thing. And that's necessary to support a number of different business models. So yeah, I think, something else emerging is very difficult. The builders that are here are probably going to stick around, and probably the people that have, been here for a while are also going to stick around. Like a lot of people like, oh, crypto is hard to use. But then it's like, bro, during NFT cycle, like 1 million people made a Phantom wallet and then learned how to use Magic Eden to buy like a picture of a goose or some shit. Like people figured that out. So, it can happen. You don't have to dumb it down. That's another thing I hate in crypto for like so many years is like, oh, I've got to dumb it down. It's like, oh, my grandma needs, bro, your grandma is not going to use it. It's fine. If she doesn't use like a collateralized perp position that is a delta neutral spot DEX, like that's okay. She doesn't need to. We don't need to dumb it down.
Yeah, that's true. All right. I am out of time, but I would love to continue at another day. So maybe we can reschedule for in a few months, and we can hear on the recent evolutions of Remora, what got added, if we can copy trade Nancy Pelosi, counter trade. What's his name?
Oh, Kramer.
Kramer, inverse Kramer. There we go. But would love to have you on once more. And yeah, for our watchers, thanks for watching. I'm sorry the chat didn't work this time. But if you have feedback, then let me know in the comments below. And give her a small round of applause for George. Make sure you can hear it. And thanks for being here, and thanks for being a friend.
Of course. Thanks for having me, Steve. I'm always happy to be on the Pirate